Well, I was happy to record for the people I was playing to. I was playing 5 or 6 nights a week, and we were all happy. It was a strange mixture of people in a bar, different place every night, but all walks of life. The world. There were good people, there were criminals, there were dark people, and the song "How Wonderful You Are" was inspired by a prostitute, actually, and she got up and sang, and she sang like an angel, and she was 55 and terrible looking, really. But I thought, there she is, that beautiful soul, still intact at 55, and she's lived a terrible life. But when she sings like a child, beautiful. That's what inspired that whole thing, that there's potential still. I had a lot to learn. I've since written a book. I bring that up early because it's fresh in my mind. I've had a time to write the story and look at why so long. And it was a really long journey, like climbing one mountain in my life. And each time I was knocked back, I thought I was a victim of circumstances, but it wasn't, as it happens. They were guides. With the King Crimson thing, I was very unhappy, but it led me to the next part of the journey. And when I climbed the mountain and got to the top of the mountain, I could look back and say, thank you.
You think you are?
I wouldn't want to repeat Harry's Bar with 10 more songs from me straight away. I want the Harry's Bar story, which is my life story, to become a movie. And I've done the book. Now I do the new record, which is a step aside from me. It's forget me for a moment. I have a voice, and my voice suits Michael Franks' songs. In 1978, I went to Hollywood and I heard somebody that was doing the same flavour as me,
In
musically,
those days.
in those days.
And what was your flavor those days?
Well, it was mellow. I'd come out of a kind of J.J. Cale rhythm and blues background, and I wasn't a strong singer, and neither was Michael Franks. And yet he was making this spiritual music with a sort of soft jazz funk, the best musicians in Los Angeles, which attracted me as a ex-bass player. And I wrote to him, and he was pleased to hear from me because of the King Crimson connection. It was like being part of a musicians club, and artists were allowed to do records that were really artistic. It wasn't, we're looking for a single, or, you know. And he always went into the charts at about number 90 in the Billboard charts. But he was very respected, and I loved him. And I started singing his tunes. I would do 10 of mine, 3 of Michael's. And it worked. And it was just somebody I admired, like I admired J.J. Cale, Randy Newman, Paul Simon, anybody that I thought was a great writer. And Michael's a great writer. But he never went top 10 except with one song. And his first 2 albums did 500,000. Anyway, I sent him this new album, and he loves it. And his wife is over the moon about it. So I haven't upset him by doing his songs. And I love them as much as I love doing my own songs. So it was a good move. It made me forget what I've been through. I needed to get away from that craziness of the last 2 years. A holiday from me. That's what I needed. And the joy went into the recording. You can hear it. It's a very joyful record. She wants to know what the reason is for it all, and there is no reason. In his words, it's fate, it's chaos, maybe. My subconscious remembered. I'd forgotten that when I was 32, I joke a lot. It's my sense of humour that kept me going. But I joked when I was 32. No, I'm going to wait until I'm 50 before I make it. So I did say it to my brain. And it's a great time to do it, because it's such a surprise to everybody else. And certainly those that prevented you from making it. There are always people in your way that will say, "Oh no, you're too old to make a record," or "We're not interested." You know, it's always nice to prove them wrong.
You belong to the...
Well, when I first heard it, that was 1978, and Michael was clearly mixing his spiritual life with, I think, the drug scene of Los Angeles at the time. And I've watched him through his life come out of that. So I would say the cookie jar is... something's in the cookie jar that the lady wants, you know, and he hasn't got any. Or it could be something else, but that's what I get from it. It's not a love song.
If you...
The Dream is the movie, and after that I probably want to do a very radical record after this one. It may take me 2 years to think about. It'll be completely different.
But what do you think is radical?
Like nothing I've ever done before. Maybe I'd like to show my crazy side.